Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where we are currently working on getting our coffee plantations and railways worked on here. We're going to have those done very soon. I'm still not entirely certain what's going to happen when this bar fills. That'll be very interesting indeed. But we need to continue to boost our naval power, and that is absolutely something we are going to work on doing. So our coffee plantations in Minas Gerais are going to be done fairly soon. We've got a good amount of bureaucracy, actually, and we should consider bringing up an institution. And that institution is going to be law enforcement. 100%. Let's move this up to the maximum, and that'll take some time. So we'll get going on that. That sounds fantastic. So bringing up law enforcement to the maximum means things like this turmoil will be a lot less big of a deal. So that's wonderful. Who is this? They are a radical ideology, but what would they do? Okay, whatever. I don't care that much. It's fine. Do we want to do a law change right now? Well, maybe. We're on agrarianism right now. We already have homesteading. I feel like we're in a pretty good position in most of these situations. Radicals took a very, very sharp spike a little bit ago. That is definitely noted. That would have been when we annexed Peru. So that is certainly noted, and we're going to have to do some state incorporations up here. Yeah, I forgot to do that. Okay, so we're definitely going to incorporate these states. That does mean... no, I don't want to stop incorporating these. I want to start incorporating these. There we go. So that means that we're going to be negative in our bureaucracy, and we definitely want to do something about that because we are boosting our law enforcement, which we still want to do, for the record. So that's fine. We're going to get going on that, and we're going to reset production methods all across here. There we go. And let's just check through our production methods here. I just want to make sure that we're in a good position on our production methods. So we'll just go through all of these very, very quickly here. Make sure that we are approximately where we intended to be, and that none of that changed over, because that would be awkward for us for sure. So this is all relatively fine so far. I'm not seeing any major issues here. Yeah, that all looks good. No problems here. No problems here. But our sulfur mines... Yeah, we're on the correct position there. We should move to dynamite for our sulfur mine in Lima. But otherwise, that seems reasonably fine. Arts academies can go down to realist art. It's technically a slight reduction, but we'll do it. And then we can go to, say, independent artists. That's okay. I think we did that previously. Okay, so we're going to do something like this. But we have a pretty major transportation shortage, and we have some market access issues. So, market access issue number 1, Rio Grande do Norte. No problem there. Market access issue 2 is the Peruvian states, up over this way. And that's where the transportation shortages are likely to be as well. We've got this one in Goiás, and then we've got one in Rio Grande do Norte. But then we have one in Bajo Paraguay, which, if we check in here, yeah, that's down over here. I'm a little surprised that that's the case, but we're probably just overstretching this railway. So if we were to expand this railway, that would be something we'd want to do. And then we'd want one in Lima. That's fine. We can definitely do that. So a railway in Lima. There's already one there. It is maxed out, so that's okay. One in Cajamarca, and that seems fine. There's not one there currently. One in Ica, not one there currently, and one in Brazilian Pastaza. So where is that? That is out over here. There's not one there either. So that seems fine for now. Now, I do want to check in on our taxation capacities. That all looks okay. No problem there. So we're going to need to boost our taxation capacity, or not our taxation capacity, but our bureaucracy a little bit. So let's build in Minas Gerais 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's a lot, but we're going to do something like this. So this railway gets moved up to the top. This coffee plantation gets moved up to the top. Then I'm going to move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these naval bases. And we're going to intersperse. Something along the lines of this. That'll do for now. And then we can move this naval base up to about here or so. Because we do need to get these naval bases done. But we also need to get this base level of infrastructure built. And that is going to be a very big deal. No doubt about that. So there's going to be 2 government administrations here. We'll just wait for some of this to clean up. That'll be fine. So we're fairly negative financially right now. Gold Combine is losing prosperity currently. This is probably due to transportation shortages, and we don't necessarily want it to be losing prosperity. But I think it's okay for the time being. So we're going to leave things where they're at, and we definitely do want to get that coffee plantation built. But we need to get our naval power back up. There's no doubt about that. So we're going to work on that, and we're also going to work on these government administrations. Venezuela's improving relations with us, which is mildly remarkable. And Bolivia is currently friendly. Are we not currently improving relations? Okay, it's good. We don't need to have anything there. So, we could offer them knowledge sharing, but I don't think we want to do that. How are we doing on their liberty desire? So it's going up by 0.01 right now, mostly due to this timed modifier, because we annexed another subject. That will go away eventually. And that seems relatively fine. Economic dependence on Overlord is definitely working up as well. So that seems okay. We just unlocked Central Archives. That is actually a very, very big deal. So if we go into here, I believe that's under Society, we can see that that gives us access to standardized filing system. That is a very big deal because we can go to our, where are they? I think it's down here. We can go to our government administration and bump this up to standardized filing system. That is going to massively increase our bureaucracy, which also means that we no longer need these government administrations to be queued, which is perfect because we'd never actually put any resources into them. So we can put this railway here. This railway would be here. And we can move this one up to here. And then we would simply want to move these railways up. Something like that. I put them up at the top, but that's not exactly where we want them to be. I really wish they'd make it so we can drag and drop here. That'd be very convenient. But unfortunately, that is not currently the case. So we need to move some of these railways down like this. And then these guys, well, we could leave them where they are, I suppose. In theory, that's kind of okay. We're going to be finishing up this dye plantation here. And that means we're going to be running a pretty big deficit for a little bit here. But I think this is okay. So that seems reasonably fine. We're going to need to get our radicalism here reduced, and that will definitely happen slowly. So that seems good. And this railway will be 24 weeks away. The railway in Lima is quite slow in its construction, and we should really do violent suppression up in Lima while we're constructing there. We have enough influence, or rather enough authority to do that, and that will reduce that efficiency malice by 20%. So that is pretty decent. That's basically reducing it in half. I like it. So that is very solid. And then, of course, this railway, I do want to move this up to the top here. I want to be prioritizing getting this one done. So that's fine. We are building an explosives factory with our private construction, so that is okay. We've got a pretty solid deficit right now, but for the moment, I'm not too concerned about that. Okay. So let's get this railway completed. I also want to check in on our gold mine status. We can indeed build a couple of gold mines. However, these would be in Bolivia. So I'm not too concerned about that one. What we really need to do is get these railways completed. And that will allow us to have our company be gaining prosperity again, which would be very good. So that will definitely be a useful thing for us to do. We gotta get these railways built. But we also need to get our naval bases built. So that is absolutely something that needs to happen. So this is the amount of buy orders for coffee within the Brazilian market. I see. We do need to continue our coffee production, but for right now, we've got bigger priorities. We will get back to the coffee production, and that will happen relatively soon. What is going on down here? Mapuche versus Argentina? Okay. And also, this trade route is inactive. Let's get rid of any of these negative trade routes. Okay. We have an ammunition input goods shortage. That is noted. I'm not too concerned about that right now. We do have an ammunition factory. So, actually, we've got 2. But we've mostly got just the 1 in Uruguay, and it will start to hire. It's completely empty right now. So yeah, it's going to start to hire. That looks reasonably fine. I'm not too concerned about that. Beautiful. So we finished up one of those railways. Another one is going to be done in 12 weeks here. That sounds excellent. But we do have a clock on getting this naval base done. So, well, on getting these naval bases done, I should say. We need to get our naval power projection up. So let's do that for now. And we can bring this naval base up. And then this naval base can come on up. And then this one can go here. Then this one can go here. Okay. So for now, something along the lines of this. So we've got 7 input goods shortages. These are all transportation. None of that is shocking. We're up to 14 million GDP. It's not our peak, but it is definitely going towards the peak. Sounds good. And we're 7 weeks away from our railway in Bajo Paraguay. So that's great. 29.9 in Lima at this point. So if we look at Lima here, we can see the turmoil is 52.1%. However, law enforcement is creeping upwards as we both incorporate it and increase our law enforcement institution. We could also bump up our home affairs institution, which seems okay. It's not great, but it's okay. We may as well work on that. So we'll get started on bringing that up. Sounds great. So, do we want to enact propertied women? Honestly, propertied women isn't bad. It will drop our growth rate a little bit. But to be honest, I think it's acceptable. Let's get started on this and see what happens. The Catholics are upset, and the landowners are upset. I mean, what else is new? The Catholics and the landowners are usually upset. So that is all fine. No major issues there. So the railway in Lima is going to take a while. The Brazilian No Home Affairs Society, huh? They're harmless at worst. Okay. So that seems fine. We're running a very hefty deficit at this moment, and we should definitely do something about that deficit. Getting these constructions done will help a lot, no doubt about that. And as far as the railways go, we've got 5 there, and we've got 6 shortages. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that, and we've also got this ammunition shortage. Is this still not hired? Yeah, they're still not hiring people due to... there are issues causing this. So what is going on in Uruguay? Well, there are basically no workers. And what is going on in, like, overall Uruguay here? So population, we can see that the unemployment is insignificant. There are about 2,500 peasants in Uruguay. But they don't seem interested in coming in, or they don't have the qualifications. That might be an education issue. We did conquer that relatively recently. Mapuche is beating Argentina. Okay. While the armed forces are currently supporting propertied women, this is going to pass with flying colors. No issue whatsoever there. So that sounds great. This railway in Lima will be done in 17 weeks, and then we have a second railway being worked on. I'm actually going to move our naval bases up again. There we go. I do want to continue to work on naval bases, so that'll be fine. This is, of course, 54.5% construction efficiency. This is 78.9 and 76.4. So that is all not great, right? More time before we build these is probably not a bad thing. So that's understood. This naval base will finish very swiftly indeed. In fact, right now. And our law enforcement investment has gone up. So that is definitely good. If we check in at some of these now, 53.5, yeah, this is because they're not integrated. They will definitely come down as they get integrated. So additional time for that sounds great. The railway in Lima will be finished, and we're not going to be able to move this violent suppression, so that is definitely a thing. Krakatoa has happened, and canneries have been unlocked. Nature is indeed a capricious creature, but that gives us some infamy. We were at 0 anyway, so that seems relatively fine. So at this point, what do we need to do? Well, we just got new food industries, so canning is a thing that we can do now. And looks like we want to be on canned meat. Okay, we can definitely do that. That'll be a small increase to our GDP. Very small. And we've progressed to study on propertied women. Excellent. That is very, very expected. So I do want to bring this naval base up. We want to continue to work through these naval bases as much as we can. But the railway in Lima is the top priority. So we're going to get that finished up. And what do we have a transportation shortage in that we're not building in? It is in Minas Gerais. Okay. So I'm going to put this in Minas Gerais. We're definitely going to construct there, and this can be top priority, actually. So that is going to be something like this. And I'm doing it this way because of efficiency. So let's move up this railway, and let's move the Lima railway to here. This is because of construction efficiency. As those areas get integrated, it'll get better. So I'd rather build these first. Burning ashes, huh? I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. The Krakatoa ashes are affecting our agriculture, and that just is something that's going to happen. So I do want to continue to bring up these naval bases. We will get them completed very quickly, but they're not priorities. However, the naval bases are very close to being done. We're not going to build the barracks, just the naval bases for now. So in that case, we may want to do something kind of like this, where we build 2 naval bases and then the railway, and then 2 naval bases and then the railway. Or we could just move up all of these naval bases. That's the other option here. And I feel like that's kind of a decent option. So we just do this, right? That seems reasonably fine. So we'll get those done relatively quickly, and enactment success chance reduction, 50-50, or a setback. Okay, a setback there is mildly remarkable, but sure. So these naval bases are being worked on, and our power projection is creeping upward, but it's not where we want it to be. That's for sure. So we might want to start thinking about a naval tech, like ironclads. That's definitely something that we can work towards. After reinforced concrete, let's do it. Or perhaps going for this, but I think it's fine. I think ironclad is the way to go. So we'll get going on that as soon as that's finished. I can't believe Argentina is losing to Mapuche here. That's insane. Oh, whatever. It's fine. So we're going to get this naval base completed. Or rather, these naval bases. There are 4 of them being worked on. It is now 1870, by the way. So that is absolutely understood. We're going to need a lot of levels of plantation buildings, and we would like to be the lead producer of coffee as well. Both of those we'll work on at the same time. So that's not really a problem. Okay, this law has progressed to voting. That seems fine. And our pop growth is currently about 1% annually. We would definitely like to bring that up a bit. But that'll be something that happens via technology and institution, probably. So that's fine. We're up to 14.9 million GDP. Solid gains there. Working our way up. We've still got a big old deficit, and this is not surprising. We're going to get these naval bases completed. And how are we doing on this naval power now? Well, it's improving, but it's certainly not ideal. So our railway in Minas Gerais is going to be done in just 4 weeks here. And in that amount of time, I do actually expect the last naval base to finish as well. So that should be reasonably fine. And this is also boosting our construction efficiency up here, so that sounds good. Now, grain is currently expensive, but I'm more interested in getting these transportation shortages dealt with. There's also some market access that we'll need to deal with after the transportation shortages are dealt with. And it's not entirely an overlap, but the Venn diagram there is nearly a circle. So that sounds good. There's a secession going on over in Peru. Okay, yeah, that's not necessarily surprising. Do we have these integrated yet? No. 3 years on that still? Okay. Well, we now have propertied women, and that seems reasonably fine. Now, anyone can make it in Brazil. That's fine. These guys are at 58% turmoil. It's going to be a problem. They're going to break away, and that's not surprising at all. So our railway in Lima is going to be done very soon. These other 3 railways, I'm going to cancel. We're not going to get those done before this succession happens. So that sounds okay. After that is finished, we'll deal with that. Now, we definitely should look to do something about ammunition. So I don't really want to put this in... Well, that's actually a lot of job seekers in Uruguay. And they're not getting in here. Okay, so I think that's an education thing, to be honest. I really do. So let's instead consider putting these in... Like, Lima would be terrible, because they're going to rebel. So Minas Gerais. I'll just build 1 there. That'll be fine. And I do want to get this railway in Lima done immediately. We want to get that finished before they secede, not after. Cool. So that'll be fine. We are going to crush them. That shouldn't be a big problem. And we're going to get the railway in Rio Grande do Norte done in 17 weeks and the munitions plant in 24. Okay. Sounds good. So we know that grain is still expensive. And we have these 3 input goods shortages. Okay, so they've seceded. No surprises here. Carnival, huh? Honestly, a fine distraction. Okay, so I think we were paying a lot in welfare for these guys. We'll work on getting that developed. So I'm going to mobilize this force. We're going to send them here. I'm going to mobilize this force, and we're going to send them here. And then I'm going to mobilize this force, and we're going to send them here. So that should be no real problem, assuming nobody joins in on this, and they shouldn't. Bolivia would actually join. Okay, that's kind of hilarious. But yeah, nobody should get involved in this. So over we head, no problem, and we should have no problem crushing this at all. Yeah, they really can't defend their holdings here. This is not going to go well for them at all. So, looking at our constructions here, we are 18 weeks away from our munitions plant in Minas Gerais. That's fine. We're still running a very, very large deficit, and this is a problem. Our interest is ramping up. No doubt about that. Government wages are a significant chunk of this, and we know that we have our government wages up. That was for our prestige. We don't actually need that anymore. So let's drop that down to here. That's our military wages. And we could sack our prestige by dropping our government wages significantly, but I think military wages here is fine. And let's sack our prestige a bit. And is that enough to be over Bolivia? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, perfect. So that looks good. And the Incan Uprising is going to get crushed very, very easily. We're just waiting for that to actually finish up. Oh, there's... I didn't realize we had anything up over here. Remarkable. Apparently New Granada is helping us. Okay, sure. New Granada is helping us against the Incan Uprising, and they can handle that front. I'm fine with that. Sure, why not? So we've got an election coming in with the Liberal Republican Party projected to win 84.4% of the vote. That is insane. We've also got smoke streams here, and we'll go for university building throughput. We don't have many universities, and we probably should, but here we are. And we're just going to crush this Incan Uprising. There's no problems whatsoever here. Are we winning this attack? Yeah, we are. Okay. Beautiful. So this is all completely fine, but it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue working on Brazilian naval power as well as River of Coffee. Brazilian naval power definitely needs to come up a fair amount, it seems. We may end up having this time out. We'll see. We will see. But for now, I gotta put that cut in. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Tommy Kintogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.